an unfair advantage. My administration is also taking on junk fees, those hidden surcharges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front, refund your money if your flight is canceled or delayed. We've reduced exorbitant bank overdrafts by saving consumers more than $1 billion a year.
First of all, it wouldn't be enough by itself. An analysis conducted around 2022 by the committee found that increasing the full retirement age to 69 would not even help people out. And clearly, President Biden is making big moves, and the GOP have different approaches to keeping Social Security from reaching insolvency. Perhaps the best alternative for Democrats is to meet in the middle. If that happens, hopefully negotiations can go on, hopefully negotiations can continue. People can get money, people can get the help they need. We have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, SSDI, and Social Security Administration news. We got a ton of news here just for you guys. Continue watching this video, you don't want to miss out on this. Lawmakers have announced big news. The inflation relief checks are on the way. New bills are being worked on by the Biden administration. And if you meet the eligibility requirements, you may be eligible for a one-time stimulus direct deposit to your state. Now, I want to talk about this. There are millions of seniors and Social Security retirees living on fixed income. What this means is that there are millions of people needing to help and needing to get money. First of all, Democrats may not control the House of Representatives anymore, but lawmakers are still trying to pass new relief. Congress is not continuing to go on with this, but other congressional Democratic congressmen are trying to approve a bill that will help you folks out. Representatives and are promoting a progressive policy that will be on display as they reintroduce the Save Medicare Act. This is a provision that includes the Inflation Reduction Act. It allows Medicare to negotiate prices and things like that. And beginning in 2026, first of all, Medicare will also begin negotiating the price of 10 prescriptions that cost the federal government the most money, followed by more than 15 prescriptions in 2027. First of all, researchers estimated how much money the new policy would have, and it was actually surprisingly a lot of money. The most recent years for which data is available on Medicare spending have shown some important statistics. First of all, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid said early this month that it is still working on its plan for exactly how it's going to implement this negotiation. Like I said, nationally and in every state, the minimum cost for living for older adults is calculated by the Elder Index, far exceeding the federal poverty thresholds, which are used to calculate official poverty statistics. The Elder Index estimates that a single older adult paying rent needed about $27,000 to pay for basic expenses. For couples, the gap between the index's population and calculation for necessities and the poverty threshold was even greater. Yet eligibility for Medicaid, food stamps, housing assistance, and other safety net programs have helped older adults that are basing their living off the federal poverty standards. I also want to say that the University of Massachusetts researchers have showed that Social Security benefits cover only a fraction of what older adults need for the basic living expenses. A massive tax break plan has been agreed upon in the state of Michigan. It's looking to look good for Michiganders. Governor Gretchen Whitmer has also announced an agreement that reached between her Democratic leaders and things like this. Much of the debate in the first month of the bill has been around this tax relief plan, including who is going to get it, how much money they'll receive. The plan is agreed upon in multiple different ways, folks, and now it just has to be voted on. But the framework of a massive tax relief plan is coming to Michigan and will include the repeal of the state retirement tax, impacting 500,000 homes, and expanding the earned income tax credit, which will touch around 700,000 homes, and mention for the first time a direct check to every taxpayer in the state. The governor said, "We recognize inflation and what it has cost and what it has meant to the people that need help." It is not known what impact this will have on the income tax rollback that the Republicans are proposing, but we do know that it could help somebody out, at least one of you guys that are in need of Social Security, because the immediate action was actually mixed from the other side, with House Minority leaders actually calling for a $9 billion surplus. The Michigan families do not have to choose between immediate relief and a permanent tax cut, that is. This is the latest scheme crafted behind closed doors. It appears to be the governor's newest attempt to cancel the income tax cut that's due to every Michigan resident every year. Folks, what do you think about this? Tell me in the comments.
The gentleman from New York rise. Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, Joe Biden has been president for 25 months. He said he would build an economy for working families in America. The largest infrastructure law in U.S. history, done. The American Rescue Plan, done. The CHIPS and Science Act, done. The Inflation Reduction Act, done. The United States economy added 517,000 jobs last month alone. The unemployment rate is 3.4%, the lowest in 54 years. Biden created 11 million jobs. That's 440,000 jobs every single month. According to Bloomberg Business, Biden is now on his way to becoming the greatest job-producing president in U.S. history. 35 million Americans today have health care because of the Affordable Care Act. 92% of all Americans have health care that is better and more affordable. It's no wonder why, Mr. Speaker, that our Republican House colleagues are now threatening to destroy the American economy by defaulting on the very obligations that they voted to create. We are better as a nation, and we are better as a Congress.
Social Security beneficiaries. Rising inflation also means more retirees will end up being taxed on their benefits, and when Congress introduced Social Security taxation in the 1980s, it set income thresholds and avoided indexing them for inflation. On the positive side of this, retirees whose costs are rising more slowly than the official inflation figures will benefit from the latest cost of living adjustments according to the U.S. Labor Department. And Bernie Sanders and Peter DeFazio have introduced the Social Security Expansion Act, which would, among other measures, boost benefits, adopt the Consumer Price Index for the elderly, and subject all income above $250,000 to the Social Security payroll tax. However, Democratic Representative John Larson has also proposed a Social Security reform bill. His bill adopts the CPI index for the elderly as the basis of the annual COLA and applies the payroll tax to annual wages above $400,000. Experts say that Larson's bill includes more benefit improvements than the DeFazio-Sanders bill, but DeFazio-Sanders extends solvency for significantly longer than the John Larson bill. Now everybody, officials are warning Americans of a global food shortage. The Biden administration is working to address several issues that the American people are currently facing. During the crisis, Americans across the country got a little extra help from stimulus checks, but for most of us, it's been a while since one has hit our bank accounts. And Georgia's governor recently signed Bill 1302, which is a new law attempting to offset the rising cost of inflation by refunding some money back into the hands of taxpayers. We've seen inflation hit the South pretty hard as housing and rental prices in southern cities continue to skyrocket on an upward trend, leaving some wondering if it's time to relocate. And the amount you receive will all depend on the marital status, dependent on how much and how filed your taxes to begin with. The payouts begin at $250 and go up from there. Georgia residents who are single or filed separately can expect to receive a payment of $250